Hey guys, welcome back to Becoming Soulful. We are inviting interesting women and men to inspire us and become very, very soulful. Today, I have a very interesting personality, Dr. Varsha Pavithran, and she is a public health specialist, dental and oral health. She's a researcher, biostatistician, and associate professor. She is born and brought up in Bangalore. She is a Malayali, now currently settled in Netherlands. I'm so glad to invite her and share some of her best practices so that women who are watching this can learn how they can make their dreams come alive and live their life without losing their identity. Ma'am, can you please come on the camera?
Yeah. Hello, ma'am. Thank you for the invite. I'm so glad I could make up for this. And yeah, I feel completely honored too. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
So much. You're looking so pretty. And what time is it in the Netherlands right now?
Ma'am, it's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Okay. Not much of a difference. Okay.
Yes,
so thank you for accepting my invitation and be willing to share your best practices. This channel is meant for especially women and married women. And married women have a lot of dreams. And before their marriage, they used to be very bubbly, chirpy, very confident, hopeful. And after marriage, few women lose that courage to live their dreams. I want to listen from you. How is your life? What are the dreams you had before college? I mean, or during the college, before marriage? And how are you able to balance personal life and your professional life? So let's start. Say something about you, ma'am.
Okay, so I am Dr. Varsha here, and I am, as ma'am has mentioned before, I am from Bangalore, born and brought up, though my roots are from Kerala, and I have been a public health professional since the last few years. I complete my undergraduation and post-graduation from Bangalore. That's undergraduation from Vaidehi Institute of Dental Sciences and my post-graduation from Krishna Devaraya Institute of Dental Sciences in Bangalore. So, and after which I moved to Tamil Nadu in Annamalai University, currently called as the Government Dental College, Kadalur. I served there for a period of 5.5 years. I joined there as an assistant professor and then moved on to become an associate professor before I resigned from there. And the reason to, quit Annamalai University was that I was getting married and I had to move to Netherlands. So this all happened on a spark of a moment. So all that, yeah. So I always think that, living my passion and making it a dream is something that is really what everybody would want to do and everybody would wish to do. So when I completed my education, I had serious concerns as to where I'm going to get my job. I mean, I would be 100% happy if I would got it in Bangalore, but yes, it was somewhere else written for me. So I had to move to Tamil Nadu, and it was a completely new place for me. So I had to, convince my parents to go all the way, and that was a really tough job because living in Bangalore all my life, they were not ready to let me go to another place and live over there for a few years. Then I remember I asked my papa, like, can you give me 1 year time? Let me just go and check out what, Tamil Nadu has got to give me, and my dad and mom was very perplexed with that. And they were like, okay, take it a chance. And I think that was that sole period where I felt like, the control was in my hand and they had given me the opportunity to go and explore. If not, probably I would have still been in Bangalore, but it would not have taught me more as to how live a life alone, because I was always at home. I was a day scholar all my life. So moving to Tamil Nadu, helped me to explore myself as an individual, staying there, working there, colleagues from a different part of the country, the language, the culture, everything together. So that was a completely different experience. And staying over there, I mean, though I asked a year permission from my parents, I managed to live over there for 5.5 years. So I think, that's a big thing that I would think, from there, when as time passes and different phases in life occurs, I realized that I found somebody special in my life, and that person was in Netherlands. So then I decided to move to Netherlands. Yeah, quitting the job was a big question mark, but then I gathered courage, and I knew that was not the end of everything. Because what when we learn something in our profession, you know that sitting anywhere in the world, you can work towards it. You need not be attached to the mother country or a particular place as so. And Corona has taught us a lot during the period of the last 2 years, where work from home has become such a leisure. Like you could work at home, the same thing what you would do in an academic institution, because everything is via a laptop or a phone. And when you have your students or your colleagues who really want to connect with you to learn something, then sitting anywhere and working would be a pleasure. So yeah, so that's how I reached Netherlands, and I think I'm doing pretty well. So yeah.
Okay. So now, before getting married, Varsha as a girl, if we can describe her in 3 words.
Okay, yeah. I was I was a bubbly girl all my life, but then I was very much dependent on my parents, as I just mentioned. Like, before marriage, I mean, in my house, the nature is like, rather than asking permission, it was always about informing my parents, and they were okay with it. So it is about me being bubbly, me being very close to my parents, and the third would be like me being a very attached person. Like I'm a very loyal and an attached person to whoever it is, be it a colleague or a friend. I like, yeah, I am a very warm person.
So you as a lecturer in Anamla University, probably in the 4th year. So how would you describe in 3 words?
Okay. I'm a very considerate. I was a very considerate staff there. I was a very cheerful and very enthusiastic individual in Anamala University, and I was there every moment for my students. Like I think I was the most approachable staff over there, because yeah, that's what. Yeah, the description could be given later, but this is what, because I always thought that students need somebody whom they could approach to, given any particular situation. Only then they would learn, or they would want to learn. So yeah, that is what I
So
was.
you already said a word, but I'm still going to ask you. If your students will describe you, if they remember you, and if they describe you, what is one word as a professor,
Oh
associate
yeah.
professor?
Yeah, my students might tell as the energetic staff. Yeah,
Good. Okay.
probably. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So my favorite question: who is Varsha after marriage? 3 words.
Uh, okay. I'm still the same. And I think I've only become more and more energetic. And thanks to Abhi for the same. My spouse name is Abhilash, and he's only and only encouraged me to move forward in whatever dreams or wishes I have in my life. So yeah, currently he's my backbone. In 3 words, I would describe me as still being more out loud, more extrovert, and ready for anything kind of a person now. Because I think Netherlands as a country, the opportunity is very wide, and the country has no restrictions for anything. So you only get to explore more.
Beautiful. Has there been any change in the level of courage you have right now?
Yes,
From the
ma'am. Yes.
Bangalore college girl to the professor and to the current Varsha in Netherlands?
Yes, absolutely. While I was a student during my UG and PG days, I was quite hesitant to go out and probably share all my views out in public. Uh, must be it is, the way we are brought up. Like we, as a child, we depend, as I mentioned, we depend a lot on parents. So we think uh, too much, and we think so much about the society that we hesitant to say what we actually want to, as an individual or as a female or as a woman. But moving on to a professional life in Tamil Nadu, where I started my career, and I was when I joined there as an assistant professor, I realized that there is no line between a male and a female. It's more about the knowledge. It's more about the individualistic when you're out there in a professional career, and you need to talk. You need to put your views out there to show the world what you know and what you want to do, because going there and talking to 100 of other doctors in the same university, you have to have your own mental solitude prepared, like, because be it a subject oriented or be it anything else, talking to individuals or interacting with other colleagues from the same fraternity has to be on a very knowledgeable level. So talking to them and gaining courage to talk out rather than how I was in UG and PG days had improved during my professional career level in the university. And once I moved to Netherlands now I think it is even more out there. Like I do not hesitate to talk what I have in my mind. Lord, I do not think twice, but I make sure I have my thinking done prior to what I blabber out. So I am set. I think my ideas are clear in my mind. So I'm sorted before I talk. So and all this requires courage, because in a situation where you see that ladies are not allowed to talk, or ladies have restrictions to talk, and where you have you come to a level where you know that you can express yourself, and that comes from your environment or your surroundings, where you have people of same thinking individuality or mentality, and that time you gain courage automatically, just to share your thoughts or your views. And yeah,
If I could interrupt and ask you a question, how do you describe courage?
okay. Now, my perspective of courage is physical courage, mental courage, spiritual courage. So when you think about a physical courage, now that is when you could beat somebody, hit somebody whenever needed. Now, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm speaking about a spiritual control or spiritual courage that you have, and a mental courage. So the mental courage wherein somebody tells you something and you analyze it yourself. Now, is it right, is it not right, and you have a control towards yourself. Like, you have an individualistic nature where you could probably ignore few things, and you're like, and you gain courage from that. You're like, okay, they tell, people talk, so it's okay. It's nevertheless, you still want to move forward in your life or in your path, what you have decided to move forward. And the spiritual courage, wherein I think that you have courage within yourself. No, it's not about thinking, it's about the patience and the calmness that you keep on your face, even when people are around you trying to hurt you or poke you in different ways, but you still have your barrier surrounded by you, and you're quiet and calm and with a smile on your face, and you still move ahead with all the negatives still around you. So that is what I think as courage.
If I can ask you one question, can you narrate an incident where you took courage to showcase your individualistic manners or characters, or where there was an environment or a situation which demanded you to be more of you, but you took that courage to be you? So I like the word what you said, individualistic. So
Okay.
how would you describe that, and give us an example of where you demonstrated that? Because I don't want to just know your story. I want you to share us, where are the places you showed your vulnerabilities? Where are the places you were you? And at that moment, it wasn't comfortable, but still you showed yourself who you are. And because of that, you feel successful inside. So can you narrate any environment or situation?
Okay. So, okay, I am a person, as I mentioned, born and brought up in Bangalore. So that environment is completely different when I had been for my workplace in Tamil Nadu. So that transition of living, all my life in Bangalore, a very very bright and very techno city, and moving to a place like Chidambaram, specifically in Tamil Nadu, not even Chennai, Chidambaram. So when I had been there, as I mentioned, it was all the courage that I had taken to go there and work. I mean, keeping everything aside, keeping my home aside, family aside. So only thing was my career in mind. So I moved forward for that. Now coming to a place like that is, Chidambaram, small town. Okay, though it's a nice place itself, but people over there are very common people, extremely common people, unlike Bangalore. They haven't seen much, they haven't known much. Probably in their own terms, they know. But me moving from here to here, the transition for me was, I was living alone there. So for me to, move around the commoners in that place, wherein they would look up to me like, oh, she's from Bangalore. No, no, it could be my way of talking, it could be my general attire, it could be it took me, in the first few months, I remember it was very difficult for me to adjust over there with everything, with totally, I mean, but I believe myself to be a person who can adapt to a given environment. So that is what I knew about myself, and helped me to cling on over there for 5.5 years. So there were a lot of instances where everybody or some people in and around just randomly would be like, oh, why is she so, I mean, because most of them are Tamilians. So I was like out of the box. So and I used to be like, okay, now this is getting too much, I mean, this is not what I was expecting. Now, was my decision wrong to move to Tamil Nadu, just for a job? Because I would got a job even in Bangalore or some other state in India. Then, I remember a day where I had to, a few days, I must mention, where I was talking to myself, wherein, Varsha, now this is not the end of it. People are just going to keep taunting on you here or there. But now this is not what you came here for. You came over here to establish a career. Now that's important. Rest of it will just come and go. Like they talk about me here, there, about whatever it is. So I used to talk to myself telling that, no, this is just the beginning. And I was quite young. This is about 2015 when I joined the university or that particular place. So I used to talk to myself and be like, this is just the beginning. It's okay. We have a long way to go. And slowly I started, ignoring what was quite unnecessary to me. I used to be like, I had created a shield for myself. Like I used to be very protective of myself because there was nobody else to take care of me. So I started creating a barrier, or I almost created a barrier in the first 6 months, wherein I made myself realize like nothing is going to affect me. I've come here for a reason, and that is so. That's the only thing that I could think of, and I think that is what helped me or kept me over there for 5.5 years, because I was just not expecting me to stay over there for such a long time. Though there were other prospects in, let's say even Bangalore or some other state in India, I was just there, because one thing, yeah, I could see the transition in myself, because when you're in Bangalore, you're used to going out, taking a lot of time, friends, family, you have a lot of things to do. But in a place like Chidambaram, you have nothing to do. Like it's absolutely you and yourself. So you have so much of time to take insight on yourself, like what you are, where you have to change. So it's a very calm and quiet place. So after the working hours, you're like, what next? And you have so much to explore. So yeah, so I think that is what. So I just try to be to myself, not giving others a chance to hit on me, which took me time. It literally took me time, because while I was in Bangalore, I didn't have to think about anything. Like I could just go there and do anything and everything, because I knew at the end of the day I had my parents. Here I was like all alone, and it was me who has to take care of me as a person, as an individual, and totally, yeah. So I think that is one of the instances that I could talk about. Yeah.
So how was your transition to Netherlands? What were your insecurities when you moved from India to Netherlands?
Oh yeah, surely. One was job. I remember I had a long conversation with my to-be partner then. That was like, because he also is a researcher, and he has been living in Netherlands for the last 6 years. So he knew what this country was, and so on and so forth. but I was not so aware of the abroad countries, or let's say the foreign land. So I had a big conversation with Abhi, asking like how was my career going to change, because I was in a good position and I didn't want to leave. Then I started thinking. Then I was like, when I had a conversation, I realized that the explorative capacity in countries like Europe are huge. Okay. And if nothing, because at the time I moved over here was COVID time. So, there was nothing working, everything was shut. So, and he gave me insights into that also. So it's not that you can't have a face change from one country to another. If you have the capacity or the capability within you, you could sit and work anywhere. And I think that is, and that's what, thanks to COVID, because while in 2020, when COVID began, I was in Chidambaram. And, just 1 year after that, during the same terrible COVID phase, I moved to Netherlands. So that 1 year while I was in India and the COVID began, I realized, because even the hospitals, we were at that time in Chidambaram, though we had to shut down for a few months, then it was open, then we had still students coming. So it was very difficult, as we all remember the lockdown, and and being in a hospital, it becomes altogether difficult. So I realized then, even when things are not working, I could still sit somewhere and work. Because all I need is my knowledge, my updation about whatever I'm working on, and my skill set, my phone and my laptop. And if I have people who can contact me, like I know I have my students or my colleagues from different fraternity who could contact me, all this is all what I require. I just need a place to sit. So then I didn't give up hope, and I carried out the same while I came to Netherlands also. So that gave me confidence, like I could do something until I find an actual job in Netherlands, the job per se. And here in Netherlands, when we look at the medical system, the Dutch language is very important. And the moment I moved in over here, I started learning Dutch. So I'm learning Dutch now. So I'm like, I'm fully packed. I have my set of work when my students or my colleagues call me. Then I have my classes for my Dutch. So yeah, it's all just going.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I introduced you as a researcher. Can you throw some light on this open academic research you are associated with?
Okay, so Open Academic Research, also known as OAR, I am a member of this particular organization. So this organization is a NGO, that's a non-governmental organization registered in India. And this organization helps students, also known as creative thinkers. That's what we call them, CTs. So the CTs, we encourage students to come into this organization with any kind of small research question that they have in their mind, small research thought, or any creative ideas. They could just come to us, approach us, and we will help them build on that creativity. And that's why we call them creative thinkers. So if they have, let's say, a small
creativity in which area?
Creativity in any field, ma'am. It could be science, maths, physics, chemistry, biology, anything that you could think about, any particular idea that they have, and they could just come in with that idea to us. And we have a lot of mentors in this organization who help these students.
What is a qualification required? Who can get in touch with you?
Ma'am, anybody above 18 years can get in touch with us. Anybody. So one of our
any parents who are watching and who want to help your children harness their creativity, you can get in touch with Varsha ma'am, because I'm going to put the details of this NGO called Open Academic Research, and it's based in India.
Yes, ma'am, it's based in India, and we have a company which is registered, or I should say a startup that is registered under OAR, and is called as iCent, and it has its incubation center in IISc Bangalore. So that startup built inside IISc Bangalore also has a portion or a part of it in Netherlands over here. So which is just freshly started.
So we have registered the company. So anybody above 18 years can join, and do they have to pay anything?
No, this does not come as a payment. We have a workshop that is conducted every year. So to be a part of the workshop, wherein the entire process of getting in touch with the students and then mentoring them So the workshop is known as winter workshop. So we had created it 3 times already, and we have the 4th workshop coming up this December. So wherein at that moment we would put up a opening for the students to approach us, and therein there could be a fees for them to have an for the workshop as such. So the workshop is for 7 days, and wherein mentors from all around the world will come to India, and we have the workshop happening in India, and we have students, or we are expecting students from India to approach us. And in this 1 week, the accommodation and food is given by us, and they will have to pay a very small fees to be just a part of it. So in 7 days we will work.
Students who can who wants to harness their creativity, they should be 18 years old, and they can be part of any school or any college where they're studying, so they can continue that. Along with that, they can do this in their free time. And this open academic research will help in helping invest on their creativity and give a shape to it. And so
absolutely,
you will help them to work on their creative ideas, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's a brilliant work. So anybody, it's not related to dentistry.
Not at all, not at all. It is any field, anything that you could think of, because ultimately when they come up with the ideas, we are expecting to work on the ideas, to make research papers out of it, to build an absolute model of what they were thinking, and then if possible we will even looking forward to patent it.
What is the purpose behind doing this? Why were you motivated to do this? What is the vision of this?
Okay, now in India, there are, as me coming from a medical background, and as I've already worked in academic field, I know what the projects the students do to get a degree. So be it a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, there are certain research projects that they have to do to complete the course, but that is just about completing the course. So at that point of time, the student never thinks or doesn't have a particular interest. They are doing it out of force. They just need to complete the course to get a certificate, or the degree as such. But over the years, I have seen students who have real thoughts, like let's say basic thoughts, like can't we okay, for example, let's say if we are out of town, and we have plants at home, and you need to water it daily, but we are not at home. So the best solution is you could tell your neighbor to water the plants, or else we could have a pipe which is automated from a signal from wherever you're sitting, and it sprays water over there with the control of us sitting over here. So a tap which is controlled or function with the control in our hand sitting in some other place. So any small thoughts, and we would work on it. So that's what I'm telling. It's not just about any particular field as such, any thoughts, or let's say about a working model of a particular car with something, specifically related to batteries, lithium batteries or neon batteries and all that stuff. So different kind of things, like if you have any ideas, so yeah, or let's say even in dentistry, if you have any kind of particular material in mind, a filling material in mind that you want to think about, and how you could use that material to prevent dental caries in future, or if it's a medical or if it's public health related, let's say if you have a solution to improve the water system in India, or
I have a problem. We need to bring in toilets for women when they travel. So
yeah,
if anybody can give a solution for that. So brilliant vision, ma'am. I think we should promote this a lot, because India is filled with innovative, creative children, and we don't have a scope much because of the education system we have. Brilliant. I think I'm so glad you brought in this idea. I think all the parents who are watching this, if your child has any creative idea and you don't know where to go, blindly go and get in touch with Varsha ma'am, because I'm going to give you the contact details. And creativity is a need of the hour, and nobody is there to help them to invest on the creativity and give a shape to it. So brilliant. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that. And I'm going to share the link, and people are going to get in touch with you. I'm getting a lot of ideas when I'm speaking with you. I can share this with many colleges, I'm in touch with many
Yeah.
colleges. I can share with all
Sure.
the college students, school students, so that they can get in touch with you and see how they can work together with you. Brilliant. Ma'am, if I give you last 90 seconds for you to talk about women and your success and how they can be very courageous in their life, what would you like to share?
Okay. So, firstly, to just state it, women are no lesser than men. Yeah. And even if we have fears and vulnerability within our side, our inside, we need to talk to it up to ourselves and to our close ones. Do not involve a third person whom you don't feel are reliable to talk to. Talk to yourself, make yourself understand what is your goal, your passion, how you could work towards it, and to that one or two person in your family who you really rely on. And I'm sure nobody else can do so much good than them to us, like, not any other third person. So if you have any kind of a dream, just come forward, just do it, try it. And I think perseverance, not giving up is one main thing, like accepting failure, like, oh, now this is over, no, nothing else can be done, this is the end of it. No, I think that giving up attitude should be forgotten. And trying a maximum, that is surely going to be, low steps every time you try to move upper in the ladder, but still trying to, catch up, probably one step at a moment. It might take many years, yeah, it might take a lot of time to reach that place, but still moving forward, though you have many negatives around you, keeping yourself within that shield, making yourself feel good at every given point of time is very necessary for you to move forward personally and professionally. That's what I think.
Beautiful. My heartiest thanks to Mr. Abhi, because without his encouragement, you will not be sitting in front of us and talking like this. Hats off to all your efforts, and God bless you and your family to achieve more and impact more people. I'm so happy about the academic research center, and that is one valid thing I'm taking from you and to my audience. And thank you so much for coming on to my show, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Yeah.
So that is Varsha Pavithran, and her husband's name is Abhilash. And we had interesting stories shared by her, a little girl from Kerala, born and brought up in Bangalore, moving to Netherlands, and in between having a stint in Anamla University, Chidambaram, as a dental professor. All these is a very interesting things to note. And if at all her story has inspired you to work on your dreams, get up, shut down all your limitations, and start working on your dreams. Don't blame marriage, don't blame your environment. There will be a lot of vulnerable moments you need to work on. I'll see you again with another guest who will share her story or his story